Rape, child molestation, and incest are wrong. Why don't we teach these things in sexual education class? These actions should be inconceivable. Rape and violation is evil. These acts are violence. By Copysmith AI. Most people don't realize that rape and sexual assault is actually a big problem in this country. In fact, 1 in every 4 women will be a victim of rape or attempted rape during her lifetime. The majority of sexual assault victims are children. 1 out of every 3 girls and 1 out of every 6 boys under the age of 18 experience some sort of sexual violence at the hands of an adult. Sexual education needs to focus on teaching consent, not just anatomy. Let's make our society safe for everyone with more sex education classes. Rape is evil. Child molestation and incest are wrong. These actions should be inconceivable. Rape and violation is violence. But there's something we don't talk about all too often: sex ed in schools. This type of education acknowledges that sex exists and that young people are engaging in it, but it often discusses sex in a very clinical way or skips over the more difficult topics completely. We need to take responsibility for our sexuality, regulate it by law, and open up about what's right or wrong when it comes to sex. Reflections on Ethics, Society, and Education blog intro. I am not an expert on this topic. I don't have a degree in child development or psychology. But I'm also tired of hearing people say that we shouldn't talk about these things because children are too young. Children will learn about these things, whether they want to or not, whether we talk about them or not. And oftentimes, they learn about them in a way that is wrong, unreliable, or incomplete. There's a common perception that rape is a natural, if not inevitable, expression of male sexuality. I disagree with this notion. Rape is not a crime of lust, it's a crime of violence. I believe the arguments presented in this article are irrefutable and, in fact, I am willing to bet that the average reader will find them so compelling they can't help but agree with them. I believe even those who consider themselves pro-choice will find these arguments convincing when presented with them, in an open-minded manner. Rape is an ugly crime. Rape is a violent and invasive act, with far-reaching effects on victims. It is not something that should be taken lightly. Unfortunately, there are people in society who still think that rape is acceptable, especially when it comes to instances of date rape or child sexual abuse among children and adolescents. There are even some people who think that incest or molestation should be acceptable under certain circumstances. They forget the fact that these acts are violent and evil.